The more hits we play, the more hits we get. URLradio.net. Stacey Sturm.
Kevin Keyes.
Okay, let's talk about serial killers. Where in the heck did this go? Hold on a second.
We are currently having some...
Computer issues. I blame this on ghosts.
We should have never started talking about them.
I know, because they hear. And they always mess with my computers. Okay, here we go. Serial killers, more terrifying than any horror movie plot.
Agreed.
These are real life things. Like movies and TV shows like Dexter are constantly trying to outdo themselves with over-the-top serial killers. But real serial killers are actually just sort of boring assholes with crippling mental illnesses and scary gimmicks. But the thing is, it's real. So that's what's so scary. Like coming in at number 6, Catherine Knight cooked her husband and tried to feed him to their children.
What?
Yes. Catherine Knight had a well-documented history of mental illnesses, beginning when she tried to strangle her first husband to death on their wedding night for daring to only have sex with her 3 times before he fell asleep. When he finally left her, she took their infant daughter and dropped her on a stretch of nearby train tracks.
What the hell?
Yeah, a homeless hobo picked up the baby and brought it in to the authorities. She later went on another rampage, slashing a woman's face and forcing her to drive to a service station where she took a little boy hostage until police arrived and beat her into submission with brooms because law enforcement in Australia apparently carries brooms as weapons. I'm not quite sure. But this isn't even the crazy part. This isn't even the craziest of things that she did. Knight eventually met a father of 3 named John Price, and they moved in together, despite the fact that he was well aware of her past.
Craziness.
Price wound up kicking her out and then filing a restraining order against her, telling his coworkers that if he ever failed to show up to work, it's because she probably killed him. And then he gallantly allowed Knight back into his house for sex and fell asleep with her.
Mistake.
She stabbed him 37 times.
Wow.
When Price didn't show up for work the next day, his coworkers called the police, who showed up at his house to discover his skinned and headless body lying on the living room floor. Knight had draped his skin completely intact in a single piece over an S-hook in the doorway, like Leatherface's curtain. Yeah. Price's head was boiling in a pot on the stove, and pieces of him had been pan-fried with vegetables and gravy and plated up to the table in 2 place settings with name tags indicating they were for his children.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jeez. I would imagine they took her away in a straitjacket right quick.
How have they not made a movie out of that? That is awesomeness. I mean, I love the Dahmer and the Ed Gein movie, but That's great. That's a great one right there.
Ooh, hang that right there.
Ah.
Yicky.
Okay, let's see. Next serial killer. The millionaire pig farmer killed people and fed them to his pigs. Robert Picton. He just looks creepy. A millionaire pig farmer in British Columbia murdered anywhere between 17 and 50 prostitutes from the Vancouver area, cut up their bodies, and fed them to his pigs. He would cruise around the seediest areas of Vancouver, luring prostitutes back to his pig farm, offering to pay large amounts of money. And then he brutally murdered them, dismembered their bodies for creative disposal. He didn't just feed the bodies to his pigs, though. He kept the head, hands, and feet of some of his victims bundled up in refrigerators around the farm. He mulched some of the victims into a wood chipper. And investigators are almost 100% certain that he lumped human remains together with unusable pig parts and took them to a rendering plant in Vancouver to be processed into things like lipstick, shampoo, soap, whatever it might be.
Ew.
Which reveals really scary truths about the cosmetic industry as well, that they just take remaining crazy pig parts and possibly human parts and don't do any testing. Just make it into lipstick.
That you rub all over your face.
Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, the Vancouver Police Department They didn't look real hard into the disappearing prostitutes because to them, they're like, it's just prostitutes.
Yep.
They reasoned that all the women were drug addicts and had either wandered off into other cities or died of overdoses or just left. They literally fired an investigator for having the gall to try to follow up on a lot of these murders.
You're doing your job too well.
Yeah.
We're going to need to let you go.
You can't be spending all this time trying to find out who killed somebody. But I'm a murder detective. It doesn't matter. One of Picton's victims actually managed to escape the pig farm, bleeding from multiple stab wounds, and prosecutors dismissed the attempted murder charge against him because the most important description of Robert Picton at the timeline was millionaire. What millionaire is going to stab and kill prostitutes?
Good Lord.
So they let him go, and he killed about 30 of them after that.
And then they locked him up.
Yeah, and then they finally found out. Once the detective finally finished up his job, they're like, "You're fired." He's like, "No, just find out what's going on." Yeah, so crazy. Okay, next. Oh, I gotta wait for my website to load here. It's a super duper website day. I still just can't believe I can't get over that that Catherine Knight. That's just creepy grossness.
And to serve them up to the kids.
Yeah, she's going to serve them up to the kids.
Hey, remember that awesome meal we had the other night? That was your dad.
Oh, now it's giving me an error message. Let me try this again. I'm going to try this one more time.
It's the spirits.
I know, they're messing with this computer. Damn you, spirits. If not, I just have one more story for story time. What are you going to do for Halloween?
You
going to do anything fun?
No, we're going to take the kids out around Lisa's neighborhood.
Go trick-or-treating?
Yep.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be maybe Zoe's last year.
Yeah. Actually, my daughter did it last year, and she would have been 12 at the time.
Oh.
But Ty didn't want to do it. She just wanted to go because her friends were going.
Ty doing it this year?
No, he just wants to watch an old sci-fi classic movie. That's all he wants to do. Watch like Little Shop of Horrors or something like that.
Dude is an old soul. He is. He's like, trick-or-treating's for kids.
Yeah, exactly.
Give me a 60-year-old movie, and I'm quite happy.
All right, here's our last story. Russell Williams, a decorated colonel in the Canadian Armed Forces, liked to break into homes of friends and neighbors with underage daughters and then photograph himself wearing their underwear.
What the hell is wrong with people?
And taking care of business on himself. All over their rooms, sort of like a lab monkey trying to...
Like throwing their poop?
Feces. A little bit like that. Oh, hold on.
The dude from Silence of the Lambs that throws his business at Jodie Foster.
Yes. Now it broke this story up. Damn it, well, that's a story. He used to dress in underwear.
And pleasure himself.
Himself.
Paint the walls with it. That's disturbing enough.
Yeah. Well, then we'll do this one as the last story.
Okay.
Nanny Doss had a thing for arsenic. She poisoned virtually every member of her family before delivering she laughed when she confessed to police that she had pretty much killed her entire family, earning her the nickname the Giggling Granny. By the time she finally got caught, she had killed her mother, 2 sisters, 2 daughters, a son, a nephew, a grandson, and 4 husbands.
Wow.
For motives best described as no goddamn reason.
Just because.
I could do it.
Just doing for fun.
And what was really chilling about this story is how long her murder spree continued before anybody caught on. Although her first husband, Charlie, did grow suspicious after their 2 middle daughters mysteriously died of food poisoning. Because it literally used to be that easy to murder people. You just pour a bunch of arsenic in their food and they'd be like, oh, food poisoning.
Well, and prior to real, autopsies going on and
doing
stuff.
labs and things like that. Charlie ran off and he took his eldest daughter with him, but left their youngest son behind because apparently he didn't like that child. I don't know what the deal is. Nanny Doss did stay married then to her second husband, Frank, for 16 years, during which time she probably killed her newborn grandson, killed her son, stabbed her grandson through the skull with a hat pin, and killed her older grandson with a generous dose of poison as well, is her son. Frank, for his part, was an abusive drunk, and Doss eventually got sick of him and dumped rat poison into his whiskey, which apparently is the cure for assholes. Whiskey, arson. It's a new drink. Doss got married 3 more times, and each husband wound up dying mysteriously. She even killed her third husband's mother just after poisoning him and burning their house to the ground to keep it from going to his family. In between her 4th and 5th marriages, she moved in with her cancer-stricken sister and poisoned her too. Because why not? She's going to die anyway.
Wow. I wonder what goes through these people's heads.
I don't know. Doss finally got caught when she poisoned her 5th husband badly enough to send him to the hospital for 3 weeks, but not enough to kill him. He was much stronger than they thought.
Or she didn't use enough poison.
Yeah. The day he was sent home, Doss filled him with enough arsenic to kill 20 freaking people. And finally, one of the doctors became suspicious and ordered an autopsy, which confirmed her husband had been poisoned. Police confronted her, and she immediately confessed, laughing throughout the entire interview, gleefully admitting to murdering 12 members of her family. Doss kept right on smiling and laughing as she boarded the bus to prison to serve out her life sentence, commenting to a reporter as she left that she didn't feel bad about the outcome. Life magazine even asked her permission to publish her life story because they apparently forgot that she had murdered children in addition to her own drunken husbands. So,
And when did this happen?
it doesn't give a year. Looking at these pictures, though, it was a long time ago.
40s?
Yeah.
Okay.
Looks like 30s, 40s. That's what I would say. So
Wow.
there you
Before
go.
the introduction of modern science.
Yes.
Because she would have been.
Yeah, because it wasn't until the 5th husband they actually did an autopsy.
Yeah, she would have been done 1 or 2 poisons in, I would think. But I wonder why, like, oh,
No
this
red
person,
flags?
right? This person died of poison related to this person, and this person.
There's only one
And this
person that fed all these people, and that's the giggling granny. So there you go. All right, coming up, what is your band name? What is your Halloween name? I'm going to do that before we get out of here. And if there's a song you want to hear, email me, Stacy at urlradio.net. That's STACY at URL.